Hi friends! Today in this video I'm going to show you how to make simple, elegant thank you cards that are super easy to put together. I think they're perfect when you need something beautiful without spending a lot of time or using a lot of supplies. And at the end of the video I'm going to show you several different versions that I made using the same template. Okay, so let's go over what you're going to need today. You first will need one piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper. You're going to need 6 A2 card bases and envelopes, one sheet of 8.5 by 11 white cardstock, and you're going to need one thank you stamp. And then also you're going to need either a border punch or a scallop die. That's it. If you do need to make your A2 card bases, they're really easy to do. Just take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of white cardstock on the 11-inch side, cut it at the 5.5 mark. Take each piece, fold it in half, and there you have your card bases. You still will need another piece of cardstock for the actual part of the cards. Next, you take your 12 by 12 sheet of pattern paper, and we're going to cut it in 3 sections at the 4-inch mark. So each section is 4 inches, and then you take each of those pieces and you cut them at the 5.25 mark. Then you're going to have 6 card fronts. The little piece that you have left is actually not going to go to waste. We're going to dovetail that and put it on the inside of our cards a little later in the video. Next, you'll need your 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. We're going to cut it at the 5.5 mark, right down the middle on the 11-inch side. And then each section, you're going to cut that at the 2 1/8 mark. And you will have a little bit of scraps left over, but you're going to need 6 2 1/8 by 5.5 sheets of paper. Okay, so the next step, we want to take our scallop die and we're going to place it over the edge of these little pieces of paper just to make the right-hand side in a scallop fashion. You can actually use a border punch if you want to, and later on in the video, I'm going to show you some examples where I used a border punch instead of the scallop die. So I just position the scallop die and then I run it through my die cutting machine and I repeat the process for each of the 6 pieces of paper. So the next step is we want to add a thank you sentiment to each of these pieces of paper. I like to use my Misty on this part, but you do not have to use it. And of course, you can use any sentiment that you want. I just like to do it twice with my Misty just to make sure I get really good coverage. Now that our elements are all finished, we just need to put everything together. So we start with our card front. We adhere it to the front of our card base. Next, we take our scalloped piece with our sentiment on it, and we're going to adhere it to the top of our card. And then the very last thing we want to do is take those little scrap pieces of paper we have. We're going to want to cut them in half. And then we're going to dovetail them and place them on the inside of our cards to make a cute little design on the inside. And that way we have no waste. Okay, so that's it. We're finished with all 6 of our cards. The last thing I like to do is just take a gold piece of twine, wrap it around and tie in a bow, and then let me go grab some other samples and I'll show you some other versions of the same template that I used. And here's a look at the 3 different samples and how you can just change the decorative edge along the top portion or simply switch out the pattern paper to get completely different looks. So if you enjoyed this project and found the template helpful, I would love for you to subscribe and come back for more card making and paper crafting inspiration. I like to share new ideas regularly, and I'd be so happy to have you here. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.